What's good, YouTube, baby? It's your boy, Uncle Duck, coming out of New Orleans. NOLA, that N-O, the Big Easy, in the Crescent City, baby. How y'all all doing this morning or this afternoon? Whenever it is, I'm catching y'all. I'm glad that y'all can come back and partake in some more of my content. Today, we have a bit of a learning lesson, I would say. So today, we're going to be going over the incident that happened on One with Mike D's interview with the rapper OG Tulo. For all y'all that don't know, Mike D had an interview with OG Tulo, and in the middle of the interview, there was a negligent discharge by OG Tulo, and we're just going to go over some firearm safety tips because I've been seeing a whole lot of people making light of the situation about how funny it is, which they played it cool. They did the best they can to keep the interview going. But was it somewhat comical? Yes. But at the same time, it could have ended in some tragedy, seeing as though that firearm went off in OG Tulo's pocket, which is not very far away from his femoral artery, which would have definitely made him bleed out if he didn't get a tourniquet on that and proper medical attention. So we're going to use this as a learning lesson on what to do and what not to do as far as firearms are concerned, if that makes any sense. So right now we're going to start this video off and let's see what happens.
Trying to be something that you not, and choices we got in life, those were your choices.
You can see him playing in his pocket right there. There you go.
Who shot who?
Come on, Lo.
Somebody got shot?
Lo, you good, Lo?
I hope. Y'all good?
Look, it's somewhat funny, but it's not nothing to make light of because that was a very dangerous situation. That person behind the camera could have got hit. Even if that bullet ricocheted off the floor, it could have easily hit somebody. And luckily nobody was hurt. It's really nothing to make light of, but you know how the internet is. The internet's going to internet. And we tend to make light of everything, no matter how serious the situation could be. Was it funny? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, but there's also learning lessons that can be taken away from these types of situations. So let's take a step back for all those who aren't aware. There are safety rules, you should say. There's universal safety rules. There's 4 in particular, 4 primary rules for gun safety that everyone who owns a firearm should take into consideration at all times, because if you break 1 out of 4 of these rules, you can definitely put somebody's life in danger. And I'm talking just 1 out of the 4 can have something in tragically. So let's go over these rules right quick. 4 primary rules for firearm safety. Rule number 1. Hold on, let's switch screens. Rule number 1: always keep firearms pointed in a safe direction. I'm not gonna say that OG Tulo broke this rule. The biggest rule he broke was not having that firearm properly secured in a holster, which all firearms, even if they're in your pocket, should be secured in a holster. And they do make pocket holsters that kind of hook around the inside lining of your pocket, so that when you draw, it kind of hooks inside your pocket and you're able to draw. Now, me personally, I carry appendix carry. If you don't know what appendix is, that's when you carry it in the front right by your junk. I don't recommend everybody do it. It takes some getting used to, and without proper trigger discipline, you can hurt yourself as well. But the good rule of thumb is always have a holster. I will recommend a Kydex holster. Now, I know Kydex holsters aren't the most comfortable, but there's workarounds, and some carrying a firearm is not meant to be, it's not going to be comfortable, to say the least. It's not going to be comfortable. It's something that you have to adapt to. It's not going to be comfortable. So that's rule number one. Always keep firearms pointed in a safe direction. He didn't necessarily break this rule, but we're going to go on to rule number two, which he definitely broke. And that is number two, treat all guns as though they are loaded. OG Tulo didn't treat that gun like it was loaded because he was sitting there playing with it while it was in his pocket. Now, maybe he was adjusting it because it was uncomfortable for him. But when you carrying like that, it's just a disaster waiting to happen. Luckily, like I said, no one was hurt. Always keep that thing in the holster. Kydex is preferred. Kydex is that plastic, hard plastic material. There's flaws with most other holsters. Those little cheap fabric holsters, nylon material holsters, those soft material holsters, they present some issues as far as things being able to get down in that trigger guard and depress that trigger. Also, you have leather holsters, which is a little bit better, but I still stand by nothing's gonna beat Kydex. Moving on to rule number three, keep your finger off the trigger until you are ready to shoot. Now, outside of OG Tulo not having that gun inside of a holster, number three is the biggest rule that OG Tulo has broken. His finger had no business on that trigger. And that also comes with training, getting the proper training. When you purchase your firearms now, here in Louisiana, they just passed a law as of last August where anyone can conceal carry. It used to be where you had to have a permit to conceal carry. I still have my permit to conceal carry. As a matter of fact, it was up right. My permit expired right before that new rule went into place. I still opted to still get my concealed carry permit because you having that documentation shows the courts, if I was ever in a situation, God, hopefully I'm never in that situation, but if I'm ever in that situation in which I have to defend myself by me having this documentation, meaning that I'm trained and I know the proper steps, I know the rules of firearms and of self-defense, because that's really what the training is about when you take your concealed carry permit is knowing the laws and what you can and can't do in each state. That carries weight if you ever have to go to trial for defending yourself. Okay. So rule number three, keep your finger off the trigger. OG Tulo didn't have proper trigger discipline. He didn't have proper trigger discipline. His finger had no business on that trigger. Now, I'm not sure what the firearm in particular he had in his pocket at the time. From what I was seeing on the internet, everybody was saying that it was a Glock. I don't know what kind of Glock. There's not many Glocks you can comfortably wear in your pocket other than like, what's the name of that? I think a Glock 43. Excuse me. A Glock 43 maybe? And even then, that Glock 43 is a bit big to be carrying in your pocket. There's the SIG P365, in which I love that thing. That's one of those that you can get away with carrying in a pocket, but nowadays, how these rappers is wearing these skinny jeans and stuff. Let's say you are able to comfortably carry it in your pocket. Can you draw it? out of your skinny jeans and be able to defend yourself if the if duty called. Okay. And number four is always be sure of your target and what's beyond it. So that means if you ever had to draw your gun and engage someone in a self-defense situation, you need to know what's beyond that person, because firearms, bullets put holes in people. Those holes go through people and they can go through other people. Now, you don't too much have that to worry about when you're shooting self-defense rounds like 9mm, 40, 45 ACP. You don't too much have to worry about things like that. But if you ever in a self-defense situation, let's say a home invasion, because that's the only time I can see you actually being able to use this firearm in a self-defense situation. Let's say your primary self-defense weapon of choice is AR-15. You need to know exactly what's beyond your target. So if someone's entering your front door, you're towards the back at the end of the hallway, right? You don't want to engage that person if they enter your hallway and that person is in between you and your child's room, if that makes sense. Because if that projectile passes through that person, it can pass through the walls and it can hit innocent bystanders, right? So you got to kind of know the layout of your home and what's beyond whatever target you're engaging. So it comes with knowing your environment, if that makes sense. Like I say, you don't too much have to worry about that when it comes to like handguns, because most handgun rounds are not going to penetrate that far. Pause. Most handgun rounds aren't going to go through people like that. So that's not nothing to too much worry about. But OG Tulo, man, let's get this together, man. And this video was just a little short video. I thought, this was a great opportunity to touch on something as far as firearm safety, because 2025 is getting off to a crazy start. I want everybody out there to stay dangerous and be vigilant at all times, because it seemed to be starting off pretty wild. And I'm predicting, just like in 2020, there's going to be a spike in firearm sales. And with that spike in firearm sales, you get a lot of new gun owners that don't know the first thing about having a firearm. And always remember, firearms are tools. They're not to be played with. A lot of people use these firearms, especially in my community. We using these firearms as a kind of like an accessory, toys, an accessory, something that goes good with your outfit. But at the end of the day, this is a tool used to help you defend yourself if duty calls. I mean, I'm a big advocate of letting if everyone having access to firearms to protect themselves, because at the end of the day is going to end. And if you ever find yourself in that situation, police usually don't prevent crime. They're there after the aftermath. So even if you were to call the police, it's not like they're going to show up in time to save you. So sometimes you got to resort to saving yourself. But that's all I have for you today, people. Thank you for partaking in this content that I'm putting out for you. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Let me know how you feeling about this situation, and let me know how you feeling about these rules. I mean, because everybody should know them. So there's really no, I should take that back. But like I said, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. And until next time, peace.